It wasn't until adulthood that I was able to see, like, I am very masculine because of it. And that masculinity came by girl bossing,
Yeah.
right? Like being like burnout,
Yep.
overworking myself,
Yep.
having my plate buffet style, I called it, like everything on my plate.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that that's what it was.
Naiara's life is a journey through abandonment, reinvention, and an undying devotion to becoming the best version of herself. She built a successful career while raising 2 children, but the most important work she's done has been really embodying her feminine energy and stepping into a new version of herself that has allowed her to fully live her life with passion. So Nai, we've been friends for several years now, and I feel like we're soulmates. It was one of those friendships where it was like instantaneous connection and recognition of each other, right? Like we'd known each other forever, which kind of caused us to organically like really sort of relate to each other through our own life experiences and share our stories with each other. And one of the things that there was a lot of like overlap that you and I bonded in is that father wound from childhood. And so I'd like to start because I think it's so important to understand who you've become and what you're becoming involved for people to know where you came from. So let's start with the very interesting sort of melodrama of like how you came into this world. Yeah. And it's such a unique story. So go ahead.
A little bit of a magical story, but I mean, my name was kind of given to me per se. And I love telling the story the way my mom always tells it, which is, she was pregnant and I'm originally from Argentina. So this was back in the 90s. She's in Argentina. Her and my mom kind of just meet suddenly. He's, they're from a trip, they're together. She gets pregnant and all of a sudden, she's excited about that pregnancy and then she experiences a loss. She goes to the hospital. She has a DNC and then she's devastated. So they take a little trip to one of the Argentinian reservation camps. The chief comes up to my mom and he says to her, "You're still pregnant." And her name is Naiara and it means reflection of the sun. And my mom, being my mom, because she's a Leo and she's also my mom, cussed him out because she thought that he was talking about the baby who she just miscarried. So 3 months go on, she's still sick, she still has all the symptoms, goes back to the doctor. Doctor says, "I cannot believe this. You're still pregnant."
That's a miracle.
It is a miracle. So the way she tells the story, and it's on my birth certificate too, I was born at 11:11 a.m.
Angel number, the most powerful angel number there is.
Yes, alignment, all the things. But also on January 28th, 1995, that is whenever the sun most directly hit the earth at that time, which is almost noon.
Wow.
So my name comes from the meaning reflection of the sun, which is when the sun directly hit the earth. Ever since I was little, she always reminded me she was a single mother. And, we're going to talk about that father wound. But she always said, "You're magical. You are going to do great things," ever since I was little. But I always kind of come back to that story because it almost puts purpose. I came into this world for a reason. I was almost called into this world. And I remember my very first meditation as an adult woman. It was dead silent. It was mystical music, the music that you meditate, and all of a sudden it was like tribe. So to me, like the Native American, the Indian tribes and things like that, they carry such a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Because those women are so powerful too. So that's where my story begins and it's still going.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing because like that story almost doesn't even sound real. You know what I mean? And it's like, but knowing who you are, it checks out so perfectly because you are magical. And, I think that you have this essence about you that really does embody miraculous things. And so it makes sense that your origin story starts with a miracle. I just love it. And that prophecy of that man coming up to your mom and naming you like that, that is how God works. And it's like when people think about life so literally, and they don't believe in magic, or they don't believe in miracles, or they don't believe in angel numbers. You hear stories like that, and they're not explainable. It's not coincidental. It is literally God working through people in this world. And I thank you so much for sharing such a beautiful, beautiful testimony. So that was your mom, and I know your mom worked really hard to raise you and get you here. Tell us a little bit about where your dad came from and who he was.
Yes. So my dad is Saudi Arabian, so I'm both Argentinian and Middle Eastern. And, he was basically there on a trip, and shortly before I was even born, he was out of the picture. Mm-hmm. So ever since I was born, it always was me, my mom, and growing up in Argentina, we have a big family. So it was all my uncles and my grandparents, but dad really wasn't around. And I didn't really have a father figure until I was probably around 10, whenever my stepdad came into the picture.
Yeah.
Which was a huge adjustment because, imagine 10-year-old taken away from her family that she grew up from, taking out of the country into a foreign country where she spoke no English.
Yeah.
It just taught me to persevere from a very early age. And I still think about those times. Like, if I could come to the United States with no English whatsoever, leave my whole life behind at 10, and I have an 8-year-old daughter. So, I look at her and I'm like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Basically her age.
I know what you mean.
Then I can do anything.
Yeah.
Because I went through that.
Yeah.
It's so hard not to forget. It's so hard to forget those moments.
Right.
But whenever I'm sitting there and you're being a mom and trying to do a business and trying to work and all these things, you're like, I was 10 and I knew no English, and here I am. And I was able to move past it and move on my life and move up and learn from it. And I feel like these are all the little stories in life who just kind of shaped me to who I am today.
It's beautiful. Well, we love who you are today. So we're thankful for all those things. So you didn't really have a relationship at all with your biological dad?
No.
Okay. How do you think in the most formative years of being a girl and growing up without a father figure, it is probably the majority of what influences, I think, who we end up becoming in adolescence and adulthood as young women. How would you say that impacted you early on in life, not having that father figure?
I would say seeing my mom be both of them, right? Because I'm going to start talking about it, that masculine and feminine energy. I had no idea how to differentiate either one. What does that feminine energy look like versus the masculine? Because my mom had to be both.
Yes.
So it wasn't until adulthood that I was able to see, I am very masculine because of it. And that masculinity came by girl bossing.
Yeah.
Right? Being burnout.
Yep.
Overworking myself.
Yep.
Putting having my plate buffet style, I called it, everything on my plate.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that that's what it was.
Gosh, I resonate with everything you just said so much. Yeah. When you come to that realization as a woman that, I always considered myself like a feminine girl, not realizing I was totally living in masculine energy. Just because I was girly didn't mean I wasn't carrying those wounds still. And I read something the other day that said, the father wound, the mother wound shows up differently than the father wound. I had both. The father wound shows up as performative, so high achievers, overachievers, anxiety, performance, feeling the need to get self-worth and self-value from performance, disconnecting and detaching from intuition and the inner self, which is as a woman, you're not living your full embodiment if you aren't connected to that intuition and sensuality, right? So I totally agree with you. Outside of the energy component, would you say that negatively impacted maybe or kind of influenced how you define your own self-worth and value early on? Because for me, it played a huge role in that.
Huge role. The way that I saw my value was to get attention. So that's how I saw my value. So I was always working harder, going out, looking prettier, chasing the next best thing because I needed their validation because my dad never gave it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So realizing that now, but like in my teenage years, that's whenever I look back, that's all I wanted. That's all I chased.
Yeah.
And, I met my husband, Josh, whenever I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
And really, we met at a rave in which I was like there looking for validation. And, thank goodness we grew in the right path.
Right, right.
But, I settled down and decided to get married and do all these things because I wanted that masculinity in my life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And
but then that doesn't mean we're necessarily prepared to hold it and live it and walk it.
100%. Because one of the main things with Josh and I, and I'm going to just touch on it really quick, is, early in our marriage, up until just a couple years ago, we had such a we collided a lot. Like we were just not working out, to be truthful. And one day he's like, "You're so masculine. You're just not feminine." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like I wear heels, I wear makeup.
Right.
Like
that's how we define it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like all you want to do is work.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't want to cook. You don't want to, like be the woman of the house. And
the
I'm
domestic goddess. Yeah.
Yes. And at first I'm like, how dare you say this?
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to be my own woman. I'm going to be my own boss. And then it hit me like not too long ago. I'm like, I'm not allowing him to be masculine because I have no idea what that looks like. And that comes from
exactly. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Such a good point. And it's funny too, because men, I don't want to derail us too far down this topic because I want to get to it later, but men define love by respect, right? And so if they're not feeling respected because they're not maybe being cared for or supported because we're so busy living in our masculine energy, they don't feel safe to give love. And women define love as emotional safety and security.
Yes.
Well, a man who doesn't feel respected cannot provide emotional safety and security. And a woman who isn't getting emotional safety and security has trouble respecting the man that she's with because she doesn't feel safe. So she doesn't see him as the leader. So that is, I think, how we unlock the mystery of marriage. And every marriage is different. But if you can figure out with your partner how to find that harmony, it's game over. You build your empire that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And however that comes. With him and I, it came through separation.
Right.
We were living in the same apartment complex, different apartments. We were separated. And, I had to almost look within.
Yeah.
Instead of like point a finger at and staying with him.
Yes.
And I'm
Very
like,
good point.
I'm not respecting him.
Yeah.
You know? And he's not giving me that emotional safety to be able to respect and kind of, let him be dominant in the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, we're kind of waking up women to the fact that just because you respect your husband and you let him be the dominant masculine energy in the relationship doesn't make you a less strong or powerful woman.
Oh, absolutely. No, it does not make you.
We are not in competition with our partners and our spouses and the men in our lives. We are complements. We have different strengths, right? And so when you start to, I didn't realize that in my marriage either. And that was a big contributing factor. And when you do kind of come into that wisdom and that maturity, I think relationships, one, you're not just entering into relationships or being in relationships for the sake of like having companionship.
Right.
You truly want to serve the person you're with, but that has to be reciprocated. It has to go both ways. Like I've done the one-sided thing so much.
No, I'm right with you because that has been the biggest lesson in being able to separate it because I can have my own career too. That doesn't mean that stops me from letting my husband guide our family. Yeah. Because in my family, I'm a passenger princess. Like I said it earlier. Like you tell me where to go. Like I will, clean the home, make our home beautiful, but you create the home. Yeah. You provide for us. Yeah. And I think as a woman, that takes so much pressure and you're truly able to be in your divine femininity
and
at that
create
point.
And nurture. Let's go back to that 10-year-old Nai real quick. The reflection of the sun, 10-year-old Nai. So your dad's out of the picture. Your mom's figuring out how to raise you as a single woman and she's a beast at it. When did you guys have the dream and the plan to move to the United States?
So my mom met my stepdad when my stepdad was also on a vacation.
Oh, interesting.
So he was born and, raised here in the U.S. He was there for vacation with his friends. They met, and I mean, this was a 3-year process.
Okay.
But he was in the picture whenever I was about 7 years old or so. And, it was a process. I knew it was coming, and, doing the visa to come to the U.S. and live here, it's a lengthy process.
Yeah.
And it wasn't sudden, but as a 7-year-old, you don't know. You don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't understand how much your life is going to change.
And you weren't speaking English at this point?
I spoke zero English.
Okay.
So school in Argentina is a little bit different. So like the end of the school year, we're in May.
Yeah.
In Argentina, the end of the school year is in January.
Oh, interesting.
So like basically winter break, like right before the holidays is when school ends.
Okay.
I came here in March. So school had just started literally a couple weeks, because it usually starts beginning of March in Argentina. So I basically had to start the 4th grade from spring break all the way just to whenever summer started here. But that's really whenever my competitiveness really started, because from the summer break, so May, until I started the 5th grade, I did nothing at 10 years old from the start of my day to the end of my day other than study English.
Wow.
So because of that is I lived in Virginia and nobody spoke Spanish. So I couldn't have friends.
No.
I just moved away from all my friends and my family and my 27 cousins that I have in Argentina. And just at 10-year-old, I remember like going home and crying to my mom, like, I want to go home, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like this is home. I can't communicate. So all that summer, those whole almost 3 months, I did nothing but study. I studied, like, again, from the start of my day to the end. And by the time I was in 5th grade, everybody was like, you speak English. And I remember my stepdad's parents, they were English teachers, and they would make me pronounce the words correctly over and over and over again. And that's all I did that summer. So that was a little bit of the child wound. And my mom didn't know better, right?
Yeah.
Like, she had no idea that was going to shape me into my adulthood. But, talking about like just school age and what transformed me to be the woman that I am now, it started with those little moments.
Have you always, since that age, kind of felt like you had something to prove?
Absolutely. I mean, ever since I was little.
Like fear of rejection. And,
because my dad was never there, right?
Yeah.
Like, you were always trying to validate it from anywhere.
Yeah.
I had to be the best at school, the best at sports.
Before you moved, like, I'm trying to understand, I guess, the shock to the system with this huge transition at such a young age. I didn't have anything close to what you're describing, but I did move at that age, states. And so I can resonate a little bit with the feeling of like a fish out of water. Like, where do I belong? My dad's not around. I don't have any friends. Nobody gets me. Like, I obviously could speak English, but just similar sort of wounds, I guess. So you and your mom were probably so close in Argentina, like when it was just the two of you, and you had this solid life that you built. And then this man comes in the picture, which I'm sure now you love him, right?
He's a great man.
Yes. But he comes into the picture, and then all of a sudden you're moving. What do you think, when you think back to that conscience of your inner child, what do you think she was feeling at that time?
To be honest, that was the start of this dissociation.
Yeah.
Because not only that, then, I was an only child for 10 years.
Yeah.
Then my brother came in. Like, as soon as we get to the United States, then my other brother came in.
Yeah.
So now, like, my mom doesn't have my full attention anymore. There's this man and then 2 children.
So much change.
And I can relate to nobody because, everything's so different. Culture is even different. So that became the start of like dissociation for me.
Was the blended family component hard for you when they started having kids?
Oh, I mean, I had my mom's full attention. Whenever I was in Argentina, I was the center of my whole family.
You were the son.
Yeah. I was the son, literally.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know how to use a knife. My grandmother cut everything for me. The dinner menu was based on my appetite. And then to come to the United States, and it's like, it's no longer about me anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm 10, right? Like, I didn't know that back then.
You probably went through like a little bit of an ego death at 10.
Most likely did.
Yeah.
Most likely did. And I think that now that I think about it, it did build a lot of the woman that I am today.
Yeah.
I often think of my 10-year-old self whenever I reflect back to my inner child.
Yeah.
Because I did have a little bit of an ego death. I did have like that trauma. I did have that resilience to it too. So whenever I did a lot of inner child work as a mom, it's amazing to do inner child work because you're looking at your children too.
Yeah.
I always look at that 10-year-old girl.
Yeah. What would you say to her now?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. That's going to be the one that's going to make me cry.
And I was like, it's time for the tears. I want to ask it.
What I would say to my 10-year-old self, I would say there's something so much greater than proving yourself.
Yeah. And what is that you found?
I would say love. I would say exploring yourself, finding who you are.
Yeah. Or even like maybe remembering who you are too.
And even remembering who I am. Or, I mean, to be honest with you, I had to find who I was.
Yeah.
Because at the age of 10, I started dissociating.
Yeah.
So, and that carried through my adulthood. I mean, a couple of years ago, adulthood.
Oh, yeah. I relate. Yeah. It's interesting because, you know, I've obviously studied spirituality to an extreme extent. It's like, I would say, my full-time job. And one of the things I've learned is that there's like typically a soul split that happens that creates the ego. It's like we're born as God or created us in our divine essence, right? Like clearly you were called into this world, as you said. And that person who was called in at some point, like you lose them. And they say there's typically in childhood a soul level split. And for a lot of people, it's like a traumatic event. But it breaks you off of the soul essence and you go into that survival mode or that fight or flight mode in which you begin picking up layers of coping mechanisms. And over time, these layers morph into an ego and an identity, right? I know for sure when, you know, I had several soul splits and I know when mine was, and I bet yours was like this 10-year-old, you know, phase. Do you feel like you've been able to, I mean, I think it's always a lifelong journey, right? But do you feel like in the work that you've done recently, you've been able to sort of recover that girl?
Yes. Oh my gosh. And actually, I come back to that question that you just asked me. What would I just tell to that 10-year-old self? I would just tell her it's okay to be soft.
Yeah.
Because that 10-year-old girl needed to prove everything to everybody, including my stepdad. You know, it built resentment towards him, towards the life that, you know, it even created resentment towards my mom into my teenage years and early adulthood to where, you know, my mom wasn't at my wedding.
Yeah.
My mom wasn't at the birth of both of my kids because of the resentment of, you know, the trauma that I thought back then she caused in my life. And as a woman and as a mom now, and as somebody who's also been studying spirituality as well, I'm like, she was just a woman.
Yeah. We're all just wounded people trying to remember who we are and find our truth. And everybody gets there differently. But when you find your truth and you're able to forgive yourself and you're able to forgive others, when you get to that phase of the healing journey, it's like the whole world opens up to you because you're not guarded anymore. You really are living with this like open heart and open energy where you can literally accept anyone unconditionally and just go, okay, maybe you made mistakes and hurt me. That doesn't define who you are. You were created in God's image. And we're all just learning. Like I've been hurt a lot by people in my life, but I have also hurt people because of my wounds, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it's happened.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I think when you can accept that truth and really give people that grace and mercy and love, even if that's not given back to you, that's how you grow as at a soul level, I think.
You just, I mean, hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be given back to you. And that's something that like I've learned and I've cherished because now I'm like, I want to be soft and I want to give so much love and radiance.
Yeah.
But I never, ever like expect in return, if they wrong me after that, that's okay because they needed it at the moment whenever I give it to them.
We're each other's mirrors and it's like, maybe you hurt me, but there was a lesson in that hurt. I learned something, and now I can level up in my next relationship. And same for that person. Like maybe they fell short, but maybe they'll do better with the next. I like to think I initiate these men for the next love of their life. That's, I think, my role on earth.
I was lessons, and at one point I thought that was Josh. I'm like, you know what? Your second wife is going to be very grateful of me. Thankfully, that ended up still being me. But I'm like, your second wife will hate me. I've done the Lord's work with this one.
Oh, it's too funny. Too funny. So at this point in your life, you're in this blended family. You're trying to find your footing. You're in a new country. You've learned English. You're like carving a path for yourself, but it's kind of a path based on survival mechanisms, correct?
Absolutely.
And then you meet Josh at 19.
Yes.
What age were you when you got married?
21.
21.
I wanted a legal drink at my wedding.
Okay. So for in the years of like 10 to 21, before we dive into the marriage, because I want to spend some time on that, what were some of the biggest sort of formative events in your life that maybe shaped you in those 2 decades?
Well, we kept moving throughout the United States.
Okay.
So we went from Virginia, where there was barely no Hispanics, anybody that I could really relate to Mississippi. There was less
Same.
Hispanics. Yeah.
Wow.
But also the culture of, the north, I would say north, central, east to the south.
Right.
Too.
Very different.
So going from like one culture to another culture, and now you're like finding this other culture, or being ripped apart from your family to making new friends, and now being ripped apart from those new friends that you feel safe. Now you have to pretend and be liked again. And then for Mississippi ending in Florida. Wow. And then dealing with that too. And to me, during those years, I had no idea who I was, because I had to I had the chance to reinvent myself each time. Like nobody knew me from Virginia to Mississippi. Nobody knew me from Mississippi to Florida. There was barely any social media back then.
Yeah. And you're also not getting the stability and time that you need to figure out who you are.
And these were teenage years, right? So like
the hardest.
The hardest. And, you're trying to not take, my hormones were everywhere. Everybody's hormones are everywhere. You have a crush. So the only thing that you can do is focus on attention. So by the time I got to Florida, I just looked for the male attention all day. So during my teenage years, my only friends were men. And by friends, attention people, like that validation people is what I call them now. And that was all the way until I met Josh, and that's where that codependency really came in at.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys meet, and if I had to guess, I'm assuming it was very similar to when I met my ex-husband, which is like you're craving that masculine energy in your life, someone to a savior.
Yes.
Is that kind of?
Yes. And he was in the military at a time. So like military guy, like just protective, masculine, also fun because, we met at a party basically. So it was like the perfect mix for me wanting to just become obsessed over settling down with him.
Well, in like the last 2 decades, let's talk about what you've lost. You've lost the closest relationship to you with your mom. So now you don't know what relationships you can trust. Whether, like, obviously your mom loved you and that wasn't intentional, but it is what defined that.
Right.
You've lost your sense of home. Because you lost your culture and your family, and you've lost your sense of self, because in order to combat those things, you had to create a new version of yourself to survive. So at this point, you meet Josh and you are desperate for a sense of home. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So would you say that was the initial foundation of the marriage, how it started?
Oh, well, let me add one more component. My mom and stepdad divorce too, right when I meet Josh or file for divorce. They separate. Bad, ugly, all the things. So to me, my only sense of security from a guy, from a male, is now gone again. So in my inner self was desperate for security. So whenever I met Josh, there was all those components of abandonment, new identity, new home, not stable home. Now I'm losing that father figure in my 18, 19-year-old mind.
Right.
So then I meet Josh, who also has a father abandonment wound. So we fit in like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Like it fit perfectly.
I love that.
Because we both had the same wounds. We both had the same trauma. And that's how we bonded.
Yeah.
At first.
Okay. And then obviously now we know that trauma bonds are not sustainable or scalable. And once that sort of facade fades and you're left with the reality of life and raising kids and marriage and all the things that come with it, you got to like reinvent the marriage. You got to like fall in love again.
Yes.
For the right reasons this time.
Absolutely.
So how difficult do you think it is when you are going through your own individual sort of spiritual journey and rebirth, which you've been going through for some time now, but then you're also having to live within a family unit of a marriage, like a codependent relationship like that? How do you make that work?
You don't.
Yeah.
Like that's the only, whenever the first, I want to say 8 years of our marriage, it was me trying to focus on him and me not having that emotional stability.
Right.
So I didn't feel safe in my marriage. So I couldn't focus on being feminine. I couldn't focus on me and my spirituality and my needs. I was always focusing on fixing him. And, you know, he doesn't mind me like talking about his alcoholism and addictions and things like that. So my focus was always on him. So that, and then kids came and focused on the kids and him and trying to just, you know, your nervous system is just trying to survive at that point.
Oh, yeah. I believe women fully get erased during these years. You're fully, it's like your hard drive is like wiped. Like, because there's no room for you.
There's so much about, you know, those years that I don't remember. Like I was a stay-home mom and I don't remember those years at all. I often forget to tell people I was a stay-home mom for many, many years.
You become like a machine.
A machine?
You like to survive.
Yes.
You become like a machine.
Yes.
Like, because you're just like every day is like, I got to keep these people alive.
Yep.
But then layer in what society tells us we have to do, which is like also join the PTA and also make sure you throw the perfect Pinterest birthday parties and also make sure that you're friends with all the moms in the mom group and make sure you're on all the group me chats and blah, 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 blah. Yep. And it's like, none of that is actual reality. We don't have to do those things. And I think I didn't realize that as a stay-at-home mom during that similar season. I self-abandoned every chance I got. Nobody even had to ask me to do it. I just did it.
Because it's familiar to you already.
And that's the mother wound. Remember how I was saying they have exhibit different things. So the mother wound is self-abandonment and people-pleasing.
Interesting. And I went through both as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, people pleaser? I mean, me giving my whole soul to Josh was me neglecting myself and people pleasing.
Right.
Because I did not want to lose that codependency.
Yep. I know exactly what you mean.
So to me, those years, I can't explain, and there's really not a huge event other than I woke up one day and I was just so miserable. And like whatever woke me up that morning, it was summertime. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I just looked at my life and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, you know, and I almost went into that self-pity stage. You know, I came here whenever I was 10. I lost a relationship with my mother. I couldn't make friends. I got married. I'm, you know, not in love at this. I have to take care of somebody else. And it went through like this depressive stage.
Yep.
Like very, very depressed of
well, you've lost your purpose.
Yeah.
You've lost your identity. You've lost your connection to God and the divine. You know, it's interesting you say it started with you asking yourself, what am I doing here? Because I've said multiple times on the show, this before you get to the awakening and the ego death part, it starts as more of a healing journey and like self-discovery, which starts with asking questions. That's how it started for me too. Asking myself those hard questions. I think most people go on autopilot their whole life and they just dismiss those questions. Nope, we're not going there. We're not thinking about what my life would look like if it was different, what my life could be if I was happier, what I'm really here to do. Those are too scary because that means change and people hate change, you know? And my questions were similar. It was, what are we doing here? There is like, have you forgotten what you're meant for? Like, I know, I have felt in my bones and the core of my soul since the day I was born that I am meant for something, that I am a vessel. I am meant for something. And as much as I loved being a mother and a wife and building that beautiful family, and as much as that will always be my top priority, it was more so that I was putting the weight I should have been giving to my relationship with myself and my higher power. I was putting that all into my family. And then when they couldn't meet me as if they were my higher power, I resented them for it.
Yes. I can relate. Like, I almost want to like grab your hand because like I was on that same boat.
Yeah.
And the best way that I've been able to explain it is I feel like I've been like the plane's crashing and everybody's oxygen masks are on and I'm just suffocating.
Yeah. Oh,
and I'm just watching everybody breathe normally. And I'm over here like crying, like, but nobody's watching me.
Yeah. And I felt like a piece of furniture in my life. Like I could have been a piece of furniture. Like I was just another thing, which left me feeling invisible. When you're like pouring into a life with someone and the family with someone, and giving all of your soul to that. And then you're like, wait, I'm disappearing in this. That's the wake up call.
And I think that was my wake up call too.
Yeah.
Is whenever I woke up and I was depressed. And I remember asking him or like just crying to him because we got in a huge fight. And I said, why doesn't anybody, like, why is it so hard to love me?
Yeah. Oh, I've asked that question so many times. Why? With Christy, she'll tell you, I've asked her a million times, why is it so hard to love me? Why do people have such a hard time loving me?
Yeah. And
do you know the answer now?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
I am so much.
Yeah.
Like, I am so big that just that little tiny piece of artificial love that I was craving.
Yeah.
That was never going to be enough.
Yeah. So the love that is enough, I wonder if you agree with me, is the self-love that we had to learn to give ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
And the love of our Creator, knowing we're here for a purpose.
Absolutely. And also, I had to learn that I had to really explore whenever Josh and I were separated.
Yeah.
I had to, sit down and say, what do I want out of a man?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
And just look at myself and, feel pretty.
Yeah.
And what do I like doing in my free time?
Yeah.
And, who is Nai? Because talk to me 4 years ago and talk to me about spirituality. I would have said, crazy.
Yeah.
No, I'm good,
Yeah. You're a witch.
Yeah.
Like,
crystals. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you're a witch. Like,
Yeah.
not realizing it's all practicing faith. And yeah, people like to tell me I'm witchy all the time. And I'm like, I'm literally so connected to the divine.
Yeah.
The witchiness is what connects me to the divine.
Yes.
It's my belief in magic that got me there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, same here.
Yeah.
Like, same here. And, often the story that we even started with, the story behind my name, I never told it before, I want to say a couple of years ago, because I was scared that people were going to think it was like satanic or something like that.
You tell it and I'm like, oh God, that's all God. That's all God. I hear that and I think that's such a beautiful story of how God works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told it to my Reiki. My Reiki's in tears. I'm like, why are you crying?
Yeah.
And she's like, you have no idea who you are.
Yes.
If being caring and feminine and loving is too much, I don't care.
Yeah.
I will continue being too much.
I'll take my love elsewhere.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting because I think the people who say things like that, she's too much, she's too confident, she's crazy, she's witchy, whatever. Like, that's just you projecting your insecurities onto me. You don't like that I'm whole, healed, healthy, radiating, powerful, confident, full of love and energy. That bothers you because it's like looking in a mirror to what you haven't done the work on and what you're not. And that terrifies you.
Yes.
And that's not my problem.
That's not my problem either. But you know what I will tell you is whenever I started in dentistry, which I'm sure we'll get to in a little bit, the career path of it, from the time that I started, to now, they're like, what did you get done? Like, you look so different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I just explored myself. I found myself. Like, my energy is more confident. The way that I speak to people, the boundaries that I set are different.
Yeah.
And people became like, you know, they kind of did what you did, like, oh, what's going on with her now? But also there are people, and these are the people, you know, whenever we met and things like that, I started attracting the right people too, by just being too much.
Yeah.
Basically.
So instead of letting your energy just leak wherever and give anybody access to you, we now have this discernment of being able to identify what's in alignment, what's not, and the relationships that drain versus the relationships that allow us to expand and grow. And it really is a chess game. Like you every single day you are deciding the timeline and the field that you're in, the frequency that you're in. And so if, for example, you're staying in an abusive, toxic relationship, you are choosing your lowest timeline.
Yes.
If you keep friends around that don't appreciate who you are in your truth and in your authentic essence, then you're giving that energy away. And our energy is our abundance, our prosperity, our wealth. It's the only thing that matters in this life.
Absolutely.
More than love. Like,
yeah,
love can't be born without proper energetic alignment, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just find it so important. Like, my circle's gotten so much smaller.
Oh, mine's tiny.
And then I meet people like you, where it's like, I didn't even know this late in life you could find friendships like this. And I mean, we were like soul sisters from the beginning, and we refer to each other as goddesses because I literally see you that way in those eyes.
Me too.
I'm just like, you're powerful and you're beautiful. And when I look at you, I see God.
Yeah.
I see the sun.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I want relationships like that. I want friendships like that. I want my life filled with energy matches like that.
You start defining friendships different because
so different.
What attracted me to you was your femininity, your energy, your too much. Like, I love that about you. You were radiating like in a full room of like conference. And like it almost became, and I think you said it before too, it was magnetic.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh,
like,
I was so magnetized to you.
Yeah. And same with you.
Yeah.
It was like magnetic. And we kind of like drew our, like we had no idea who each other was. And we kind of ended up at the same place and started talking. And that's where this friendship started. But you start drawing yourself to those types of friendships. And, you know, I always say my friendships have, you know, to inspire me to want to do better. Because I've had friendships before that led me to the wrong paths, right? Like, I'm never going to be my best self if you want to do the opposite of what's going to get me there. So now my circle has also become so small, but everybody in my circle inspires me in so many different ways that I only keep getting better by the years, the days, the months. And also the support system, right? When I was separated, I had so many people to reach out and give me sound advice that brought me to myself.
I heard something recently that was like, this guy on Instagram was saying his life changed when he started asking all the time, all throughout the day, God, is this from you? And so if he was in a room full of people and he was like, maybe these people are my new friends, is this from you? And the answer is always, he says, it's from me if it makes you more of who you really are.
Yes, I love that.
And so I try to like look at everything through that lens, whether it be my friendships or romantic relationships. If I'm having to make myself smaller and lose my muchness, I had a friend send me, have you seen the live action Alice in Wonderland? Like with the Mad Hatter?
Oh.
The Mad Hatter tells Alice in that movie,
yes,
you used to have so much more muchiness.
Yes.
You've lost your muchness, and I much prefer you with your muchiness. And my friend said that made her think of me, like that I found my muchness again. And so she sent that to me, and she said, I'm so glad you found your too muchness again, because I much prefer your muchiness.
But that is so sweet.
I know.
Romantic to me.
Yeah.
I want people to say these things to me. And like, those are the friendships that you nurture, right? Like, they see you. They don't see a version of you that was maybe broken and like did all this stuff.
Yeah.
They see you for who you are and they embrace you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that. I mean, all my friends know. I mean, you included. I am so much, but I love it.
Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Josh knows. He always tells me, you are so much, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, we've gone from being the buffet to the 5-course fine dining meal.
Ooh, I love it. Or the Michelin star, baby.
We're still a lot, but in all the right ways.
Exactly. I love it.
Still too much food, but served properly.
Exactly. You're not going to be too full at the end of the meal and bloated.
Okay, so going back to the marriage and kind of that moment where you woke up and started asking yourself questions, was it clear to you right away that the marriage needed a shift, or did that happen over time?
No, it was pretty clear. It was pretty clear to me at this point, just because of both of our wounds. I'm an avoidant by heart. And that's something that I've had to work very hard, because during our separation is really where it became clear. He was the feeler.
Yeah.
And I was the one who disassociated, avoided feelings at all times. I mean, during that period, I did not cry.
Yeah.
I did not, mourn or anything. I was just, again, I was back into that state of existing.
Well, life had taught you at this point, all life had shown you at this point, because it was the same for me, is that it's not safe to feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
And no one is going to stay if you show them what you feel.
Mm-hmm. Because that would be being too much.
Too much.
And back then, too much was a bad thing for me.
How dare a woman be sensitive?
I mean...
Or have emotion.
And the funniest thing is the biggest breakthrough, and we were separated. I was in a conference last year, actually, in Miami. And it was the night that I had the biggest breakthrough. It was a new moon, a full moon. And something was like, go out to the beach. I'm in Miami. It's night. Everybody's partying. I'm like, I just want to go to the beach alone and meditate. Like, I don't know why. Like, something's just telling me.
That sounds like a dream.
I'm like, I just want to go alone. Like, nobody come with me. Like, just full moon, me at the beach. That's all I want right now. Like, something was literally screaming, like...
Because we're part of a coven.
I mean, that's what it is. Or God was like, get to the darn beach right now. Like, you need
divine femininity, yes.
The amount of tears. I could have filled that ocean with... I think I cried for 4 hours straight. Like, I've never cried so much in my life as I did that night alone in that beach.
Well, tears are trauma stored in the body.
It was such a healing night to me. I will never forget that night. It was like the rejection. It was the abandonment. It was all of it together. And it all just came out.
Yeah.
And it was
And it's when everything starts to click and everything starts to make sense. And you realize that moment is the culmination of everything that has happened to you, and that none of it was an accident, and none of it was coincidental, and none of it was punishment, and none of it was God abandoning you. It was all divine orchestration so that you could have that moment where you get to reclaim who you really are in the eyes of God.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I'm in tears just thinking about that night, because I remember a voice after 4 hours of just crying and crying, like bawling my eyes out. Like if the police came, they probably would have thought like something happened.
I should have been locked up so many times by now.
But at the end of it, I heard this voice, and it's like, and you still think you're too much? And like that moment, I was like, it woke me. Like that was one of the moments, I was already woken up. I already knew I was miserable. But I just didn't know the path that I needed to take. And this was a year ago, when I was already exploring my spirituality, when I was already in my healing, journey. It was not until then that, God was like, wake up.
Yeah.
Look at yourself.
Right.
Look at, you are, and I came home and I remember Josh telling me, you are a beacon of light in so many people's life in the darkness. And that's how he describes me.
That's a good man.
He's like, you are that candle in the darkness where people just try to find the light. And whenever he said that, I broke down.
Well, that's a man that loves you and sees you.
Well, he had to heal, right? We had to separate to be able to find, he needed to find who he was. I needed to find who I was and what I needed from him. I had no idea.
And how long was the separation?
I want to say it was almost a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a hard period for you.
Oh,
because that's when we started getting close, was
yeah.
during that time frame. Yeah.
I mean, it started with avoidance.
Mhm.
It started with, do I want to date? Do I not want to date? Do I, like, I want to find love again. Like, I wanted to cling on to that habit of feeling that I already
know
had.
what you mean.
Yeah. I wanted to cling on to that. I wanted that attention back that I never had. And I kept telling him throughout our separation, why is it so hard to love me? I just want to be able to find love. And like you said, I just didn't know at the time that love comes within first.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he was able to say, see, I've been seeing this the whole time.
This is how I see you, how you see yourself now.
Exactly. And he almost like held up a mirror in front of me. It's like, you are that beacon of light. That's why, you feel so lonely, because you're helping people. You're a healer. And I mean, that has translated ever since that moment. That has translated to, my work, what I do for work every day. It made sense why I naturally came attracted to, in dentistry, full arch, and those people filled with traumas.
Yeah.
And things like that. So after that, it made sense. And I started exploring who I was after that. And he started exploring who he was. And after that, we fell in love, I think, for the first time.
Yeah.
After that.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah. Do you remember the moment in which you looked in each other's eyes and you were like, okay, we found our way home to each other again?
Yeah. It was, my apartment, because we were separate apartments. And he would leave me like love letters and coffee and things like that. And he would always remind me of it. So to me, that was more of like a quiet, like, oh, he cares about me. But it was also a conversation that we had. And he said, I want to be the provider, but I want you to be able to, curate the house. I don't care if you work. I don't care how that happens, but I want you to. It's whenever we had this conversation of like how our marriage was going to be structured. And we've never had this conversation before.
Right.
We've never really sat down and said, this is a marriage and this is, and I'm going to say it, my expectations from you. Because if he would have said that 3 years ago, I would have probably cussed him out. Like, expectations, what do you mean? I work, we're equal, So it was the moment that we had that conversation that I started feeling safe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can just sit down
and breathe
and breathe. And he started getting more into spirituality, and he started finding that and meditating and getting into all that fun stuff. And he's definitely not to the level that I am in, but to me, exploring what a feminine and masculine energy and what the roles are in a marriage and having that conversation was the point that, like, this is the type of relationship that I want, and I don't want to leave it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I want that for everybody. That's so beautiful. And it's like, when you think, the divorce rate's higher than the married rate now.
Oh, yeah.
And when you think about why that is, it's as simple as nobody is having that conversation. Yeah. And I think, too, one thing I was going to mention earlier is, like, our society has constructed the feminine energy to be defined as quiet, appeasable, safe, flexible, easily tolerated, tolerant.
I was going to say yeah.
And it's like, when men say, I want a soft woman, they're literally thinking about somebody who will condone the weakest version of themselves so they don't have to change. And it's like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Women are here to initiate men by bringing them into more of their feminine energy, right? And then initiating them into more of that masculine provider and leader role.
Absolutely.
They're not born with that. That is a learning that happens, right? And what I think women maybe sooner than men are waking up to is, like, being feminine also includes, there's like the divine feminine, which is the light body part of it, and then there's the dark feminine.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the animalistic component.
Yeah.
That's Mother Nature.
Yeah.
right? And that dark energy also has to be integrated. And that means, we're going to roar like a hurricane sometimes because we're the ones that the emotion and spirit moves through. And not that men can't have emotion, but women typically are the more emotional creatures because by nature we have a more sensitive nervous system and more open energy. And so it's like, I need to be able to move like that hurricane, and you remind me I'm safe in that and stay steady as the mountain, so that then when that storm passes, I can go back into my softness. Absolutely. Because you kept me safe in that, right? Yes. And I think men have to stop expecting women to be easy, and I don't mean easy in terms of sex. I mean easy in terms of being tolerable. Yeah. How much are you going to grow if the person you're with is just easy all the time?
Well, that's not even like you're asking. It's almost kind of like you're asking them to do two different things. If you want the woman to grow and nurture your household, that means you too.
Yeah.
And you can't grow. If you think of leadership, you have to, one, I'm never going to work for a boss that is going down a wrong path. I'm never going to follow them.
Or doesn't have a path at all.
Exactly.
A lot of men have no direction right now.
No direction.
Yeah.
I put that into my work, my friendships, and my marriage. In every aspect of life, right? So if you think yourself as an employee, you're not going to go into a company that has no direction at all or is going down a bad path, right? So the same thing in a marriage. So you want to be the leader. You want to get her respect, but you're doing the bare minimum and you have horrible habits and traumas.
Yeah.
How are you going to expect her to want to follow that and let you be that leader?
Yeah. And you want her respect, but you're not making her feel like you care about her, her feelings, her heart, what bothers her, what triggers her, where she feels unsafe. If you aren't honoring that dark feminine in her, that witchy side, right? She can't be complete, and if she's not complete, she can't respect you.
Exactly. And that, to me, that darkness can also come, I've seen many memes about it, as that lioness, right? Yeah. If something's going up at home, I mean, sometimes I do have to call my husband, I want the kids to never experience having these types of conversations. You need to stop. So I will be firm.
Yeah.
But that's also femininity because I'm protecting what my children are going to go through. Not that happens in our household, but I'm just, there are instances I'm oh, don't talk about that. The children are here.
Yeah.
But that is still feminine.
Yeah.
You're protecting your cubs.
Yeah.
Your mama bear.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So people are oh, she's so straightforward and bossy and stuff like that. It's I'm not being bossy.
Yeah.
I'm protecting.
I love when anyone tries to tell me what to do with my children.
Oh my gosh. That's when she comes
excuse me.
Yeah.
I'll burn this place down.
Me too. I mean, especially you with your children. I mean, same with me and mine. Anybody, a teacher saying that, I'm trying to tell me oh, Liam or Lila did this or that. You should really consider doing that. I'm I know my children.
Medicate them.
Yeah.
Let's just throw pills at them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's just medicate them so they're easier to handle because they're too much. Let's take away their muchness.
Exactly. So, Lila, my 8-year-old, she's me.
Yeah.
That girl has my soul.
Yeah.
I mean, she used to watch, I don't know if your children watch Spirit, the horse.
Oh, Hadley loved Spirit. She had the whole
the horse
barn, horse barn thing.
There's the Spirit, the movie where one of the horses died. Whenever she was 3, she used to cry. She understood, the emotion comes up.
Empathy.
She's so intuitive with her emotion. And that's whenever I really worked on my
That's how women are supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's my inner child work.
Yes.
It's seeing her, I'm oh, this is how I was supposed to be raised.
Yeah.
And, her nervous system is regulated and she feels pretty and she wants to wear makeup and she wants to look at the mirror for 5 hours a day without being shamed.
Yeah.
It's her, it's me.
Because she loves herself.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you taught her unconditional love.
And to me, I'm she's going to grow up and what Josh shows her, what, leadership looks like is what she's going to learn.
Except from a man. Mm-hmm.
So, Josh and I it's really important for both of us to be able to teach Liam how to lead and how to be a man,
a divine masculine.
I'm
doing that right now with my boys.
And for Lila to understand her femininity from a very early age and to embrace her too muchness. That's what we call it in my home. I love that she dances. I love that she's silly. I'm silly. I'm a goof at home. And we sit there and dance T-Rex and stuff and we laugh about it. And this is stuff that I was shamed for as a kid. But now I'm seeing her and she's herself and thriving. So I'm, as a mom and in my femininity too, I'm excited to see, how she develops because that's going to be that's how it was supposed to all play out.
Yep. So let's talk more about the spiritual journey.
Yes.
That has been a lifetimes altering transformation for me. And one of the reasons I started the show was because I wanted to help wake other people up. And we know in spirituality, you cannot force people awake. You will have your own catalyst. You will have your own dark night of the soul. You will have your own self-discovery process, your own healing journey. Everyone will go through it. I think being able to be the mirror, the show's the mirror. That's why I have all these guests on so that they can share their stories and be a mirror for the people watching. Tell me about what the spiritual journey has been like for you. I have a really hard time summarizing it verbally to other people, which I didn't realize until I started the show. And I was like, every time I listen to an episode, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm getting the message across because it's so hard to articulate. But can you try?
It is really hard to articulate because it's, everybody thinks that it's this beautiful story of blossoming when it's really the bush got cut down, replanted, soiled again, came back again, replanted. So that's kind of how my story went. But in the past, I would say year is whenever my spirituality really started to blossom, is what I would say. And I mean, I'm going to say this has been 4 years coming to where I started to wake up little by little, but the traumas kind of held me back a little bit. And in the past year, you kind of just wake up. And the best way that I can see it, and it's funny that you said mirror, because through me being a coach, through me being a mom, I always try to be a mirror to people because I can see them. I cannot wake them up, but I am so ready to be the mirror for whenever they do wake up. And I'm like, I've seen this whole time, and I'm so excited to see you grow. And I've seen that, I have such close friendships to where, you start being so intuitive. You know what they feel. You become that empath even.
Yeah, you and I are both very empathetic healers, seers. That's what really bonded us.
But as far as my spiritual journey, I mean, again, it's really hard to put it into words.
Yeah.
But to me, it started with self-exploration to who is Naiara, what was Naiara meant to give to this world.
Yeah.
But also who is Naiara supposed to give to herself.
Right.
And a legacy doesn't have to mean work.
Yeah.
A legacy can mean stopping a trauma from
breaking a cycle.
Yeah, a generational trauma and things like that. So to me, that healing has been liberating because now I want to be too much.
Yeah, you don't realize you're imprisoned in it.
And it's so nice because I used to walk around and I'm like, oh my gosh, my shirt's too wrinkled and my makeup's not perfect and I didn't have enough time to do my hair. And now I'm present.
Yeah. You're nothing matters but divine love. I have no fucks to give. That's literally how I move through my life.
Yes. I am literally just skipping through unicorn
light.
It's almost like there's a spotlight and all the noise around me just became quiet.
Yeah.
And before that noise used to almost overwhelm my nervous system. Yeah. So that's, I guess, the best way that I could say it.
Yes, is that inner peace.
It's the inner peace. And I put that spotlight where I want to put it.
Yeah.
And, if it's with friends this weekend with, Josh and I just went on vacation. So that spotlight and everything around it was quiet. So I was able to truly be present and truly explore and still what I still like and what I want to do. Right now, I have a huge pool to do, like humanitarian trips. So, like, I want to be that beacon of lights and things like that. So, I'm still exploring it.
You're such a beautiful soul. I think kind of what you're describing, and correct me if I'm wrong, though, because this is how it is for me, is you start to move through the world with the eyes of God.
Ooh.
Like you see through the Creator's eyes. You see people as God would see them. You see your children as God would see them. You see yourself, because it starts with seeing yourself as God sees you.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're looking outside yourself and you're looking through the eyes of God at everything else through your work. Work doesn't become just work anymore. It's soul mission, purpose.
Absolutely.
If you're in the right seat, right? And friendships, like, oh my gosh, my friendships, I've had friendships with most of my closest friends for 20 to 30 years, but the depth and connection at which my friendships have expanded since my awakening is tenfold. And it's been the most beautiful process to watch, because it's like, there's no walls anymore. It's just unconditional love and my truth. And then when people stay through your truth, it's like, that's love.
Yeah.
That's real love, you know? Yeah. So what are some spiritual practices that you do to like keep that inner peace and what'd you call it, spotlight in your life?
To me, the biggest spiritual practice that I don't know if it's too spiritual, it's self-love instead of people pleasing.
Yeah.
So I always used to, instead of having the spotlight, I used to be the spotlight out and not focus on myself. So being able to, one, understand through meditation and things like that, and through quietness, through maybe being a little bit selfish with my time.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. As a mom, it makes me such a better mom.
Yeah.
To be selfish, to take a weekend and get out of the state and enjoy your time with friends, because you're going to come home and you're going to be present instead of drowning.
Even Jesus, like there's like tons of stories in the Bible where he's like, I got to go pray. Hold that thought. I got to go pray. He would take time for himself alone with his higher power all the time. He would walk, like people would want a miracle. He said, no, I got to go talk to God, be with myself. Right. And he would disappear for days, weeks, months. Right. And then come back stronger. And it's like, that's not selfishness. That's alignment. That's embodiment. That's sovereignty.
Yes.
That's divine protection.
Absolutely. You have to be able to come in and just be, again, present. And you can't be present if you're caring for everybody else.
Right.
There's actually a book, and I feel like you'd love it. It's called The History of God.
Ooh, I would love that.
So it's written by, I know, so good. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
It's written by a nun. She was a nun. She ended up not being a nun. She, got out of being a nun and things like that. But it talks about a lot of prophets. So it talks about Jesus, Muhammad, and Abraham.
Okay.
So it talks about all of them and what they all had in common.
Yeah,
and they all took time. So like Jesus, like the 40 nights that he was alone and things like that without rain, all the things. But that was something that they all did. They all took time alone, away from the world, away from their loved ones, to pray, to come back to themselves so they could keep giving.
And that's what makes them prophetic. We're all prophetic. We are all prophetic.
Yeah.
Anyone can receive the message from God.
Exactly.
Anyone. All you have to do is create the space and prioritize the conversation.
Absolutely.
That's it. It really is that simple. Do you know when I had the bird in my house, it was trapped in my house a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I had a bird come through my chimney and it was trapped in my house. And it was a process getting it out. Well, a few days later, I was meditating, and similar to your, downloads that you got, I got a download, and God said to me, "Do you remember the bird?" And I said, "Yes, God, I remember the bird." He goes, "The bird is you."
Oh my God.
I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "In that situation, I was you and you were the bird. The bird was terrified, lost, trapped, felt alone, felt abandoned, couldn't find its way home. But the entire time, not knowing, you were working on rescuing the bird. And then it would try this door and that door and this window and that window. And you wouldn't open those but you open the right door. And that's what I do. You may think you want this window open. You may think you want this door open. You may think you want to go from this room to that room. But the only door that matters is the one that I'm going to open for you. And you don't need to know what that door looks like or when it's coming. You just need to know that I am here, that I am present.
I have chills.
That was the conversation I had with God.
I have
about
chills.
This damn bird that shat all over my house.
God, it was like, you shit all over my house.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Can we make the message a little less messy next time, please, God? I'm a single mom. This is honored. Yeah, so I just love that.
So
it is taking the time to sit in the divine, to pull heaven into your heart, and then you will get everything you need from there.
Anything, and you don't have to lose yourself. I mean, I have so many friends are like, oh, you're not like the spiritual people, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I don't like walk around with like, you know, the bowl or anything like that.
I do walk around like that.
But I'm like, I am still myself. Like everybody thinks like that we become nuns, basically.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's not like that at all.
I'm like,
you're empowered.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, that's the goddess energy.
Exactly. Even more so. I remember like in my early 20s, I like would not go to the beach in a two-piece.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't feel confident, because I'm like, oh, I shouldn't, you know, like a woman doesn't dress this way. A woman doesn't wear this.
Yeah.
And now I'm
all
like,
societal made up shit.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I mean, it's all over.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Not because the attention, because I feel good.
Yeah.
Because that's what gets me, you know, confident. And they're with my family too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's a form of self-love.
Exactly. And so to me, like it's so important to have that spotlight to see, you know, what do you need right now to fill your own cup?
Yeah.
Is it, you know, a weekend with the girls to have like a really fun time? Is it a weekend by yourself to have a really quiet time?
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for you, and it can look like both, either or, because sometimes I just need to just let loose and be a woman.
Yeah.
And sometimes I need to
and that's the other thing. Women naturally are very wild and free-spirited.
Yes.
And that's where the term witch came from.
Right.
Because through our divine expression, through God expressing himself through us, that looks like dancing around a fire.
Yeah.
That looks like sovereignty. That looks like freedom and full embodiment.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry if that bothers you, but that's when I'm closest to God.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's like the more we really embody that wild, free spirit that is creation, we are co-creating with God, the closer we get to God. And some people don't like the way that looks, because guess what sovereignty means?
Right.
I can no longer be controlled by you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was such a... Going back to Josh and I, there was that sense of needing control from him. And I'm a free spirit. I mean, healed and unhealed. I'm a free, like, the wild spirit. I rebelled against that the same way that I rebelled my whole life towards any authority figure that tried to control me.
Yeah.
So once he understood, like, there is no control. Like, you have to almost, like, unattach and let them be free.
Yeah.
And then I was free. And I'm like,
I choose you.
Yeah,
I choose you. I desire you. I want you. I want to walk this path with you.
Exactly.
Not because I have to, because you're controlling me, but because you honor me.
Exactly.
In my truest form.
And there's so many women out there that, you know, are chained, and they're only walking the path because they are chained, because the man, you know, is you know, controlling them, whether they see it right now or they don't. That's okay. I've been there.
Or they just think they're doing their duty.
Their duty.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing my duty, right?
Yeah.
Like I wish, you know, Josh would be here to talk about it, because he has been such a contributor of me re-exploring myself and him allowing me the freedom and the trust. And, you know, our marriage is not conventional at all. It's not like most see it. But to explore life.
But you guys have fallen so much deeper in love with each other during this phase.
I wouldn't imagine life without him right now.
Yeah.
Like,
so
it's
beautiful.
Impossible.
Do you think the kids see that?
Yes. Because the kids I feel like they felt it before.
Yeah.
And like, they're so much happier. They have a close relationship. They love mom. They love dad time. Lila is so feminine. Liam's learning to hold doors for
Same.
us.
That's where my kids are at too. Yeah. The other day we went to the grocery store and Hudson, I started pushing the cart and he's like, you can't push the cart.
Yes.
He's like, I'm going to push the cart.
They become protective.
Yeah. And I was like, why? And he's like, I just don't want you having to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. I went and raised a divine masculine. Look what I did.
I love it. And his wife is gonna thank you.
Yes.
I mean, like, think about their lives and all, the heartaches that they're going to avoid.
Yeah.
Because we're raising them right. And outside of the trauma bonding and codependency and everything that we've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, like, that's thinking back to, again, that 10-year-old self that came in and, she had to be avoidant, but she persevered because she had to. But then also me as a mom who, I go to date night and I wear something that looks good. And Lila's like, Mom, you look beautiful. I love the way that you look and you look she sees that femininity. She sees Josh and I kissing and flirting. And, to me, that's okay to show in the home. So many people are like,
oh no. You have to show high intimacy, affection in front of your children.
Absolutely. Like, they see it all. They see it all the time, and that's.
They need to see their daddy loving on their mommy.
Yes,
they need to see that.
Plenty of it.
Yeah, they need to see that. Absolutely. What does your relationship with yourself look like now?
Oh, I love time with myself. Like, that is my favorite time.
Yeah.
Like, to be and Josh knows this too. I need alone time.
Yeah.
Like, I've been needing so much alone time just after a busy day, after, whatever's going on. I just need to recenter myself, regulate my nervous system, and just think. And I'm like, okay. And that's whenever I start being creative. I start being more sensual.
Yeah.
Like Josh says, if he wants to turn me on, give me alone time.
Yeah.
That is just it. Because I come back to that feminine.
You get back in the body.
Absolutely.
And when you're back in the body, then you feel more sensual, more open.
Exactly. And
to intimacy.
At work, I do have to be just a little bit more of that dark femininity, even almost teeter-tattering with that masculinity that I'm still kind of learning at work too. But then I just need time, okay, that was work. Now center myself. And I usually just take a few minutes in my office just to listen to some lively music, something that's going to make me just kind of happy and back to myself. And then, go to the family, go be a mom, go be a wife, switch roles, which is so amazing that women can just do that.
Yeah. It's funny when I knew you were coming. Obviously, you're one of my closest friends. So I was like, well, I'm going to make this weekend extra special for us. And so I was like, the number one thing I want to do is go dancing with you because we both love dancing and really use that to fuel our feminine energy, right? And that sort of spiritual essence. And I just was like, it's so funny because even 10 years ago, I just never would have thought like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's all so much a part of who I am now, that self-exploration and that inner child joy and letting that little girl out to have fun, And it's like, what are we doing to women when we look around and 90% of women are on anxiety and depression meds?
I know.
The feminine is so dysregulated. The nervous system of the feminine right now is so dysregulated because we've created a system in the matrix that keeps us out of our natural feminine energy. And then we wonder why we feel disconnected from ourselves, why we feel disconnected from our friends, why we feel disconnected from God. Why aren't we fulfilled by the checklist that we always wanted, the dreams we always wanted, the marriage, the white picket fence, the kids? Why isn't that fulfilling us? We're trying to fit into a system that isn't built for us. And it's created these wrecked nervous systems. And most of my friends are on these meds and you struggle with not taking them. And it's like, I probably at some point needed to be on meds, but I just committed to not doing it and healing instead. And it wasn't easy work by any means, but I think, the nervous system regulation, it's like that's the kind of thing we should be teaching kids in school.
Absolutely. But I mean, it comes from like early age. Teachers are like, they need to be medicated. They're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Are you teaching my kid the way my kid likes to learn?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like these are the things.
Are you providing an environment that fosters proper learning
Yeah.
or do they feel imprisoned?
Exactly.
Do they feel like you're at them every time they move or speak or whatever, and so they can't be themselves?
Exactly. Because just because you're not regulated,
Yeah.
now you project that onto my children.
Exactly.
I was on anxiety medications and depression right after. I had postpartum. I couldn't even drive.
Yeah.
Like my anxiety was so bad that I would like just bawl crying to drive. And that was a huge contributor of being that machine.
Yeah.
Of like just going because I didn't feel sad, but I didn't feel happy.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
we're
just-
carrying the weight of the world and nobody's carrying us.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking at the women
Right.
anymore.
No one. And, you know, it's so hard because also, and I talked about it yesterday with one of my girlfriends, there's so much expectations. There's the expectation to look Instagram perfect. There's the expectation to, you know, be this perfect little housewife. There's also now an expectation to maybe be like half the provider too, like, you know, half and half, whatever that works for you. Women are expected to carry the household, you know, give children, you know, raise the family, work, look perfect all the time. And then we wonder why women are so dysregulated.
Yeah. Be soft, be patient, always be open to having sex with me. But at the same time, here's every responsibility of our life.
Absolutely. And I'm like, who's going to get turned on? Like, I don't want to be turned on.
I'm a machine.
Yes.
I don't feel like a goddess. I feel like a machine. I don't feel like a queen with my king. I feel like a servant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, we want women to become more regulated. We want women to be more feminine. It's time to start drawing some boundaries and having some conversations.
It's time to start honoring women.
Yeah. Well, first of all, yourself.
Like and then your spouse.
Than doing all of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, while you're doing this, yes, your spouse is maybe providing and working.
Yeah.
But like you have to be able to feel emotionally safe.
Yeah.
For you to be able to respect. And I think like that is such a societal challenge right now. There's, you know, the man hate, right?
Yeah.
And so that now we're not respecting men as a society, not even like as a few women. No, it's all over internet, right?
Yeah.
Like we're like man haters is what it's called. And now men are also like, well, I want her to have a BBL and she needs to have perky boobs and she needs to look exactly filtered like everybody else filters themselves.
Yeah.
So then she doesn't feel safe.
And they're addicted to porn, so I need whoever I'm with to look like a porn star.
Exactly. So like, and we wonder why divorce is so high right now.
Yeah. Oh, it's porn. 100%.
Yes.
And you know, when like going back to the Bible, Jesus loved women. Like they pretty much wrote them out of the Bible, but he was always surrounded by women in addition to his disciples.
Mary Magdalene. Have you read her book?
Oh yeah, girl. That's gonna be a whole episode. Mary Magdalene is a huge archetype in my life.
Yeah.
He loved women. He worshipped them, and he saw them as the altar of God. Why have we abandoned that? Like the best man that ever lived adored women, honored them like royalty. And because he loved them so well, what did they do? Respected him and followed him into the biggest story in history.
Absolutely.
Washed his feet with her hair, she did. Got on her hands and knees, washed his feet with her hair. Not because he controlled her, not because he asked her to be perfect, but because he loved her for who she was and allowed her to express herself in her entirety. And she was super wealthy. She was a highly decorated priestess with unlimited financial funds, and she funded his entire ministry, the entire discipleship. She funded it.
I think that's the homework from this podcast. Everybody needs to read on her story. Because once I read it,
it changes everything.
Yeah. It changes the way that I looked at religion. And I remember one of the first questions that I asked myself, because I grew up in 2 different religions, is, you know, like, there's no way that if, you know, somebody who's Muslim passes away, they're not going to go to heaven because they're not Catholic.
Right.
Like, there's just no way. Like,
no, I agree with you. That doesn't make any
Makes sense
no,
to me.
We're all of God's creation.
Like, look at Jesus and the light that he was to the world. Look what he taught so many people. Look how much he healed. He was a healer, right? Like a prophet and a healer. And then look at other prophets, like Mary Magdalene. Look at Muhammad and how he healed. Look at Abraham and how he healed. And learn from them. Like, don't be so close-minded to just focusing on one religion. Look at the whole story, because
it's all connected. And that's what awakening teaches you. It teaches you that religion is just sort of the vehicle for how you worship, but it's only a fraction of the relationship. And like, you realize religion is connected to spirituality. Spirituality and religion are connected to astrology, the cosmos, healing, psychology, conscious work. It's all one and the same. It's all divinity. It's all one and the same. And that's what awakening really teaches you. And there's a part in the Bible, I can't remember what chapter or book it's from, but Jesus essentially says, everything I'm doing, you will do this and greater. You will do this and more. And we've created this martyr and worship Jesus as if, he is the way, the truth, and the life. But people don't understand that he was teaching us the way, the truth, and the life.
Exactly.
There's no get out of jail free card because he died on that cross. You got to do the work, man. And it's, I think realizing that if you can find that inner union, if you can find that divinity within the self, then you have access to all the things he was trying to teach. You embody that wisdom now. You walk with it. You get prophetic messages. You have a dialogue with God, direct from God, not with a priest in between you or a pastor, between you and your creator.
And just, again, I'm going to go back to like the spirituality of being quiet to be able to listen to him. I mean, like, it says it in the Bible as well. But like, if you have a lot of outside noise, and I know so many people who go to church to kind of just feel better about themselves. I worked for a doctor who brought me to church, and he also believed that women couldn't lead. So I wasn't allowed to be an office manager. And I thought that was religion. And, that confused me. So there's like so many ways that religion can go, but it's really just focusing and doing your own study. Have, like you said, you have to do the work. You can't just expect your neighbor to tell you. Right? Like, because again, I used to think religion was, you have to be submissive. And I am in some ways, but I'm also not in a lot of ways. Right? So we all had to do the work. We all have to find our own path. And I do feel like that's why
it's a personal journey.
Well, and that's why God created religion. To me, there's a million ways to get to God. There's people at church that find God and can hear God at church. I was never able to. I was never able to connect like I do whenever I'm alone.
Same.
So that's my form of connection. But people connect. People feel that whenever they go to church, and that works for them. And I do feel like, God is not control, and he gave us the free power to be us. To be, be able to choose the path that we want to walk through by ourselves.
I'm reading a book about this right now. It's called Conversations with God. You should read it.
Oh, I'm going to. But yeah, there's a lot of just different ways to get to God. There's a lot of ways to get to spirituality. It just looks different for everybody. To me, the person who was being quite literally called for in this world, the trauma that I had to endure, the person who I had to find, to me, that was my way of spirituality. Other people may be different. My children, it could be totally different, right? Like, they may need to go be like Buddha. I don't know. Like, we'll see. I'm excited to find out. But it just kind of, whenever we talk about spirituality, it's such a unique story from person to person and how they find it, that it's not a one size fits all and you go to heaven. It's a million ways.
Well, and I think that construct that we've created in institutionalized religion helps us to incorporate something we don't have any answers on, that is a full mystery, the mystery of heaven, the mystery of the divine, right? Because not one person on this earth has those answers.
Right.
Not one.
Right.
And not even the people standing up on the altar have that answer. Right. And so when you realize that, it's like you realize religion is a personal choice in which you choose that as a vessel for maybe how you collectively worship. And, in the Bible, God says, when the many gather in my name, prayer is so much stronger because we're all a collective. We're all brothers and sisters of God. Mm-hmm. And when we are together, prayer is more powerful. Absolutely. That's energy. Mm-hmm. It goes back to energetic frequency and quantum physics. When we're all together doing the same intention setting, the same prayers, the same manifestation setting, that's why the power of prayer is a real thing. Yeah. Because you're all putting your energy towards one objective. Yes. It's going to move reality.
Right. But what are you doing whenever you're praying? You're meditating.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the same. People don't realize that. It's the same thing.
To me, the Holy Spirit is your nervous system.
Yes, you're right. So we've covered a lot today, the gambit, which that's the beauty of a woman who's whole and complete. There's so much to discuss because you have so much wisdom and just passion and fire in you. But one of the things you and I align on is outside of our faith system or belief system in a higher power, we have really learned that astrology, quantum physics, timelines, energy work, Reiki stuff, that's all part of it.
Exactly. Memories are going back to timelines. Yeah. Like we live jumping. I mean, in timelines is just an illusion. It's how we understand what past, present, and future. But I do see it all as a mirror. Yeah. But not a mirror towards somebody else, which is what I see, like what our role here in this world is to be. It's the mirror to ourselves.
Yeah. Our reality is like we experience reality to ascend. Yeah. So as we're experiencing the quantum field and reality, if we can evolve at that level, then you move on and ascend to the next dimension. Yeah. Right? Like my strongest sense is my sixth sense. It's my intuition. Yes. It's not even my five senses.
Oh, my intuition sense, like insane. Yeah. I will text people what's going on.
Yeah, me too. I do the same thing. I'm worried about you. Yeah. Something's going on. And I do this, and every time I'm right. We have a lot of the same gifts.
We do.
I feel like.
I think that that's also like an attraction between us two.
Because we can appreciate those things in each other.
And I can't relate to other people because they don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Because everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're a wizard. Like, how do you do that? But you understand it.
Yeah. People are always like, you're like, how did you know that was going to happen? Or, they'll ask me stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, you can do it too. Yeah. It's just about being in alignment. Yeah. And having an open energy and a regulated nervous system and using that nervous system as a tuning fork to your reality.
Yes. Yes. In all aspects of life.
Yeah.
Like I was a treatment coordinator at a dental office. My biggest gift was intuition because I knew what they were feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that person in front of me, I could feel their emotions. Yeah. I was such an empath.
Yeah.
So like I was so successful because I was so present with them. And I knew exactly what they needed. And, like the doctor will like give them financing this and financing that. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
They just need you to tell them that you see them. Like, don't ask me how I know this. I just know this. Just say it. Just say it.
Well, and do you believe in light workers?
Yes.
Me too. The grid system and everything. So I believe we both are that. And light workers, they say, are born into a lot of childhood trauma so that the nervous system can evolve into an empath superpower, right? Because your job is to be able to be the spotlight or the light for others to guide their way. Mm-hmm. And that requires you to be able to tap into their energetic field, which you and I are able to do so well with other people. And so when you have that and you're guiding people and you're a light worker, from what I've read and studied, it's like typically those are the people born with the biggest childhood trauma because that nervous system needs to essentially be deconstructed, reconstructed so that it can take in those signals and then do the work necessary to transmute the pain.
Like that trauma. I think to be able to be intuitive and empathic, and I don't think it applies to everybody, but I think it does apply to most. You do have to have a level of trauma or else you don't know what that feels like. Right? Like if you've never, like, and we've all endured drama. Like my 1 can be your 10. Your 10 could be my 1, right? So I always said, I'm like, everybody's traumas is so different.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, oh my gosh, like that's the worst thing that happened to you.
Yeah. Let me tell you my 10. Like 3 people know my 10. Yeah.
Like my 10 goes deep.
Yeah, my 10 is gonna make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like to me is being able to lean into those traumas, however they look like. But you have to be able to, one, not be dismissed for it, which is something that I definitely have shamed in people in the past of like, oh, like your life is so perfect. You have money and you're comfortable and things like that. And now I'm living such a cush life, but people don't often see. I do come with trauma as well. So it's that. But then once you truly are empathetic, you're able to lean in and feel that pain that they're feeling because of your trauma. So I do feel whenever we talk about like light work and things like that, the reason why they've had so much trauma in the past is because they needed to.
Yeah.
Like
when they say like healers have to go through the dark so that they can return with the medicine to give others. And I firmly believe that is the synopsis of my life.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Me too. Have you ever seen the movie or read the book, The Giver?
I've heard of it. I don't think I read
it. Anyways, it's about the society who's basically robotic, medicated, black and white. And this kid basically graduates high school, whatever school it is, and he gets the title of being the giver. So some women are like the nurturers, the moms and stuff like that. He's the giver. And they basically had all the memory wiped away. They take this pill. They're not able to see color or anything like that. And the giver basically
sounds a lot like the world today.
You need to watch this. It's actually really cool. He stops taking the pill and he gets basically this download of what pain feels like for the first time, what shame feels like for the first time. What colors, what, sensuality feels like for the first time and things like that. And to me, that is truly what light work is. One, you have to be able to feel it. We are the givers.
And transmute and alchemize it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're alchemizing trauma for somebody, and that's how we're able to either become the mirrors or be that spotlight for somebody.
Similar to how you were saying people are starting to point out like the changes in you and your glow, your radiance. I get that all the time. Like strangers will come up to me and be like, you have so much light in you. I can see it. And it occurs to me, it's like, that's because I've had to transmute so much darkness and alchemize so much darkness throughout my life, more than most, that I'm able to hold more light than most.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that book I'm reading, Conversations with God, God says in the book, this guy's interviewing God, and he asks God, why do bad things happen? Like, if you really love us that much, then why do kids get sick? Why do, people get murdered? Why is there abuse? And he says, because to experience what you are, you have to first experience what is in contrast and what you are not. And so he puts us through pain so that we know out of that pain that we are not that pain. Like, he puts us through hard and bad things so we can point to it and say, okay, that's not me, not in alignment.
Yeah.
I'm following the light.
Absolutely.
Right.
I feel like that's how we get more people.
Yeah.
Because then you're able to see that pain. You know what that pain looks like. You're not there anymore. I feel like that's where intuitiveness really comes in.
Okay, well, the last question I want to ask you, Nai, music is a huge part of who I am. I feel it at a visceral level in my soul. You're an Aquarius too.
Music is the way I heal.
And have you ever read that Aquariuses are mostly attracted to Aquariuses because we're so unique that like nobody else gets us, right? And it's like other Aquariuses find each other and we've lived very similar paths and we're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I know.
Thank God you're here now.
I know.
We can create and dance and be weird and howl at the moon.
That is so normal to me. And everybody's like, what's wrong with her?
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
Aquariuses by nature are very, very music driven.
Yeah.
Like we experience music differently, audibly, vibrationally, energetically.
Yes.
And so music motivates a lot of my life. I want to ask you, because I'm asking all my guests as a running question, what is a song, it could be now or always, but a song that, like when you hear it, it's an experience for you? Like it was made for you?
To me, well, there's a couple, and they're usually more like EDM beat driven.
I know you like EDM. Yeah.
I love it. There's Odyssey, which is an oldie.
Okay.
Or there's a new one actually that has become my favorite. It's called Free Your Mind.
Oh, beautiful.
And it almost it says it in the metaphor of like free your mind in, you know, the name of ecstasy. But to me, it's almost like literally just free your mind. And I care more about words.
Yeah.
I also love beats. I love upbeats, but to me, music is a story.
Yeah, same.
Like, I listen to a song and I know exactly what era of my life, like, that got me through.
Yeah.
Like, that has been the best therapist I've ever had. So, Free Your Mind has definitely become, but there's a few. There's also one that says When the Lights Go Out. And there will always be love. And to me, like, that was, and I think the song's actually called When the Lights Go Out. And it's an EDM song.
Yeah.
But I think it's so, to me, like, the lyrics just hit.
Yeah.
I like listening to things that's going to brighten me to make me feel better and things like that. So those are 3 songs that come, like, straight up in my mind.
Well, thanks for answering. We'll try to incorporate that into the promos. So... do you want to go do some divine feminine things with me?
Yes.
Because I booked us massages, poolside lunch.
Oh my gosh.
And then like a nice romantic dinner. So do you want to go, like, now that we've done our boss bitch stuff, do you want to go be soft and feminine with me?
I would love to.
Okay. Now, I feel like you and I on this couch and our friendship is the perfect case study for energetic alignment.
Yes.
We were on similar timelines. We've got very similar frequencies and embodiment. And I feel like that orchestrated our meeting. And it was like when I met you, I just knew we were always going to be friends. I knew in an instant. I really did. It wasn't one of those friendships that had to build up over time.
No.
It was almost a soul recognition, like past lifetime stuff.
It got deep real fast.
Yeah. And we've always kind of felt like home to each other, you know, and I feel like there's very few friends that you have in your life that are like you're just safe to just always be you, whether you're in that dark energy or that light energy, whether our beliefs are the same or not, like it doesn't matter. We just have this love for each other. And, you know, so having you on and having this conversation with you is a true dream come true for me. And I hope women and men watching this see what I see in you, which is just this beautiful, feminine, glowing energy that radiates across the grid system, which I'm talking about the energetic grid system, not the electrical grid system. And I just want to thank you for sharing everything that made you you. And I have gratitude for all of it because I'm so grateful for the person that you are.
Thank you. And I'm so honored, first of all, to be here, to share this couch with you, to share our stories, to share our alignment. I mean, I think the same timeline came at the same time. Like, you know, profession, girl boss brought us together, right?
And the rediscovering of ourselves outside of motherhood. Yeah.
So we were definitely on the same timeline, so it's hard not to believe that that's even real.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
Let's go get our massages now.
Let's go. Okay.